Imagine the audacity. Picture the bustling streets of Paris in the 1920s, a city alive with the spirit of innovation and culture. The air is filled with the sounds of chatter, the clinking of cafe glasses, and the distant hum of automobiles. Amidst this vibrant backdrop, a man with an extraordinary plan walks among the unsuspecting crowd. Imagine convincing someone to buy the Eiffel Tower. Yes, the Eiffel Tower, the iconic symbol of France, standing tall and proud, a marvel of engineering and a beacon of Parisian pride. It seems unthinkable, doesn't it? Yet in the hands of a master con artist, even the most permanent structures can become commodities. Not just once, but twice. The sheer boldness of such a scheme is enough to leave anyone in disbelief. The faces of the people, frozen in shock and amazement, tell the story of a con so grand that it defies logic. This was the reality for Victor Lustig, a man who made a living by deceiving others. Lustig was no ordinary swindler. He was a sophisticated charlatan, a man of charm and wit, who could weave tales so convincing that even the most skeptical minds would falter. Lustig's audacity knew no bounds, and his most famous con remains a testament to his cunning and the human capacity for being fooled. The newspapers of the time were filled with stories of his exploits, each headline more unbelievable than the last, yet all true. The Eiffel Tower, a symbol of France, seemed an impossible target. It was a structure that represented the very essence of Paris, a monument that had stood the test of time and become an integral part of the city's identity. Yet, Lustig saw an opportunity where others saw only permanence. He understood that the greatest cons are built on the foundation of trust and the illusion of legitimacy. With a forged government document and a silver tongue, he convinced wealthy businessmen that the Eiffel Tower was to be sold for scrap metal. His story is a wild ride through the world of cons, showcasing the power of persuasion and the fine line between belief and deception. Lustig's tale is a reminder that in the world of cons, reality is often stranger than fiction, and the most audacious schemes can sometimes be the most successful. As we delve deeper into his life and methods, we uncover the intricate dance of trust and deceit that defined his career, leaving us to wonder how many more such stories remain hidden in the annals of history. Victor Lustig was born in 1890 in present-day Czech Republic. From a young age, he displayed an affinity for languages and a knack for deception. He honed his skills on unsuspecting travelers, perfecting his craft on ocean liners and in bustling cities. Lustig was a chameleon, adapting his persona to fit the situation and his mark. He understood human nature, exploiting greed, naivety, and the desire for a good deal. His cons were elaborate performances, carefully staged to ensnare his victims, and ensnare them he did, time and time again. Lustig's early life provided fertile ground for his future endeavors. Born into a well-to-do family in the early 20th century, he was exposed to the finer things in life from a young age. His family lived in a grand house, filled with opulent furnishings and surrounded by lush gardens. Yet, beneath this veneer of affluence, there were lessons to be learned that would shape his future. He grew up surrounded by wealth and privilege, but also witnessed the darker side of society. The streets of Paris were a stark contrast to his sheltered home life. Here, he saw the vast disparities between the rich and the poor, the haves and the have-nots. This duality of existence fascinated him and planted the seeds of his future exploits. He learned that appearances could be deceiving and that trust could be exploited. The glittering facades of Parisian society often hid murky secrets. Lustig observed how people presented themselves in one way, but acted in another. This understanding of human nature became a cornerstone of his con artistry. Lustig's education was not confined to classrooms. While he did attend school, it was the world outside that truly captivated him. The bustling streets of Paris, with their myriad characters and endless stories, were his real teachers. He spent hours watching, listening, and learning. He was a student of the streets, observing human behavior and mastering the art of persuasion. Street vendors, market traders, and everyday Parisians became his unwitting tutors. He learned how to read people, how to gauge their desires and fears, and how to use this knowledge to his advantage. He learned to identify the vulnerabilities that made people susceptible to his schemes. Whether it was a longing for wealth, a desire for status, or simple greed, Lustig could pinpoint the exact weakness to exploit. His charm and wit made him a natural at gaining people's trust, only to betray it later. By his early 20s, he was already a skilled con artist, traveling across Europe and the United States, leaving a trail of bewildered victims in his wake. His exploits took him from the grand boulevards of Paris to the bustling streets of New York, always staying one step ahead of the law. Each new city offered fresh opportunities and new marks, and Lustig reveled in the thrill of the con. His reputation grew, and with it, the audacity of his schemes. From selling the Eiffel Tower to posing as a high-ranking official, Lustig's life was a testament to the art of deception. The year was 1925. Paris was recovering from World War I, and the Eiffel Tower, though iconic, was expensive to maintain. Lustig, sensing an opportunity, devised a plan so audacious it seemed impossible. He would sell the Eiffel Tower. Posing as a government official, he invited 6 scrap metal dealers to a confidential meeting. He played the role to perfection, using forged documents and government jargon to convince them of his authority. He explained that the city could no longer afford the tower's upkeep and was discreetly seeking a buyer for the scrap metal. Section 5, the Eiffel Tower Plot Act 2. To avoid suspicion, Lustig told the dealers that the government wanted to keep the demolition a secret. He then took them on a tour of the Eiffel Tower, further solidifying his charade. One dealer, André Poisson, fell for the ruse hook, line and sinker. He paid Lustig a hefty bribe and the purchase price for the Eiffel Tower. Lustig, ever the showman, even had a fake auction to make the deal seem legitimate. After receiving the money, Lustig fled to Austria, leaving Poisson to face the humiliation of his costly mistake. Section 6, a career built on cons. The Eiffel Tower scam was Lustig's most audacious con, but certainly not his only one. He was a master of disguise and deception, pulling off elaborate schemes across 2 continents. One of his most lucrative scams involved a money printing machine. Lustig would convince his marks that he had invented a device that could print perfect counterfeit money. He would then sell the machine for an exorbitant price, only for the buyer to discover that it produced nothing but blank paper. Section 7, the Art of the Con. Lustig's success stemmed from his deep understanding of human psychology. He knew how to exploit greed, playing on people's desire for easy money or a good deal. He was a master of building rapport, making his marks feel special and privy to inside information. He understood that people are more likely to believe something if it confirms their existing biases or desires. Lustig's cons were carefully crafted illusions, designed to play on the hopes and dreams of his victims. Section 8, Behind Bars, the Fall of a Mastermind. Lustig's luck eventually ran out. In 1935, he was arrested by the FBI for counterfeiting. His elaborate cons and charming personality couldn't save him this time. He was extradited to the United States, where he stood trial and was convicted. Lustig was sentenced to 20 years in Alcatraz, the infamous island prison known for housing some of America's most notorious criminals. Even in prison, Lustig's legend grew, adding another chapter to his already incredible story. Section 9. Lustig's Legacy, a Cautionary Tale. Victor Lustig, a name that echoes through the annals of history, is a figure both fascinating and cautionary. His life and actions have left an indelible mark, serving as a stark reminder of the power of deception and the importance of vigilance. Victor Lustig died in Alcatraz in 1947, a place notorious for housing some of the most infamous criminals. His death marked the end of a life filled with audacious schemes and unparalleled cunning. But his legacy lives on. The stories of his exploits continue to captivate and intrigue, illustrating the lengths to which human ingenuity can go, for better or worse. He is remembered as one of the most skilled con artists of all time, a man whose charm and wit were his greatest tools. Lustig's ability to manipulate and deceive was unmatched, earning him a place in the pantheon of legendary tricksters. A man who could sell ice to Eskimos, a phrase that has come to symbolize the pinnacle of persuasive prowess. His talents were not limited by geography or culture. He could weave his web of deceit anywhere, and the Eiffel Tower to the French. This audacious act, perhaps his most famous, involved convincing a group of scrap metal dealers that he had the authority to sell the iconic structure. The sheer boldness of this scam is a testament to his extraordinary confidence and skill. Lustig's story serves as a cautionary tale, a narrative that warns us of the dangers of gullibility and the ease with which we can be deceived. His life is a study in the art of the con, a masterclass in manipulation, reminding us that appearances can be deceiving. Lustig's charm and sophistication masked his true intentions, allowing him to exploit the trust of those around him. His story is a powerful reminder that we must look beyond the surface and question what lies beneath, and that even the most outlandish claims should be met with a healthy dose of skepticism. In a world where information is abundant and easily manipulated, critical thinking is our best defense against deception. In a world where scams and deception are still rampant, Lustig's story is more relevant than ever. The techniques he used have evolved, but the underlying principles remain the same. Scammers prey on our desires and fears, exploiting our weaknesses for their gain. Lustig's story is a timeless reminder to be wary of those who promise too much. Whether it's a deal that seems too good to be true or a person who seems too perfect, we must remain vigilant and question the motives behind the facade, or offer deals that seem too good to be true. In the end, Lustig's legacy is a lesson in the importance of skepticism and the need to protect ourselves from those who would take advantage of our trust. His story is a testament to the enduring power of the con and a warning to us all.